What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review a 2009 mixtape by Shawty. Basically, this project is called Fright, and it came out in the fall of 2009. This project came out in the fall of 2009. So the thing about Shawty here is the fact that he had dropped a number of mixtapes, which is an excellent thing within the pitch behind it. But particularly, his mixtapes kind of superseded his album put out as far as this pitch can happen. He really only dropped one album in his lifetime, not counting the D4L album from 2005 within the pitch behind it. D4L, unfortunately, only dropped one album as well. I gave that a pretty high score back in like the spring of 2023, but I also reviewed like Shawty Lo's Units in the City from 2008 in the winter of 2024. So it's within the pitch as far as saying that both those albums were pretty hitting. Both of them kind of had like some critical backlash. Shawty Lo is typically one of the lyricists that's kind of seen as like a pretty foul one in terms of rap music. Most of his albums tend to get like bunk scores and pitches like that. Not to say that I have that same thought, because this mixtape is going to get a 10 out of 10 here. Simple enough to see. I've appreciated Shawty Lo since way back in 2008 when he dropped Units in the City. I particularly remember that pretty well and bought that album, fuck with it, with them pitches like that. So this is a good type pitch for that. But yeah, this is an interesting project here because I didn't as full-bound mess with Shawty Lo's mixtapes back in those days, just because I was always waiting. Originally, he was going to drop an album called Carlos back in 2009, and it was going to be like an acronym, how it was going to be C, which stood for something, the Carlos name in like an acronym type format, and I was always waiting for that particular project, but it never happened. For the longest time, I remember Shawty Lo signing to G Unit in 2011. He was supposed to put out an album on 50 Cent's label. That never happened either within the pitch. Same thing with D4L. But look, after it just didn't happen. But these mixtapes, I wanted to get to this one because this has Shawty Lo, one of his biggest hits that he had chart apart from his three hit singles from Units in the City, which was Day No, Foolish, and then the other one, Done Done, as far as those songs going to happen. But it's within the pitch. Obviously, yeah. I'd probably say that, yeah, this is the song on here, Atlanta, Georgia, was probably Shawty Lo's biggest song that was not on his Units in the City mixtape, or from like the D4L days that had to say within the pitch behind it. Yeah, so looking up Shawty Lo's discography, that's the charting appeal of what particularly happened. So this is his second biggest project here. His Fright Night mixtape is Shawty Lo's second biggest project here. Fright Night here is Shawty Lo's second biggest product in terms of commercial appeal as far as those aspects can happen. So yeah, this is back in the days like the late 2000s, early 2010s when folks were starting to get charting mixtape singles. So it's within some good pitches like that. I almost probably would have thought back in these days when I remember this song, probably thinking that he was going to drop an album, but it just never happened. But I'm glad it's at least on a mixtape, so those type fairs, because this was actually a song that charted pretty well. Just kind of say within the fare behind it. On the U.S. rap charts, it was a top 30 singles. It hit 27 on the rap chart songs, and on the U.S. R&B chart songs, it hit 37. So it was a relatively big deal. Got pretty close to actually being a song. I think probably if this song had done larger, it probably would have been on an album. It was just a big enough buzz type product to the format where this just worked for like a good mixtape hit to get Shawty Lo like some good buzz appeal. So he was kind of a part of that mixtape scene, like I was saying, dropped mixtapes even before Units in the City, some pitches like that, so some good type appeals. Now, one of the few disappointments about this product, I am going to give this product like a 10 out of 10, but I guess there's one or two disappointments about this, one of which is the song Sight to See, which is supposed to have Mook B on there, which if you don't know who Mook B is, he's one of the folks from D4L. I was kind of thinking that would have had a verse. On Shawty Lo's album from 2008, he did have another folk called Stuntman, which I've reviewed one of his products recently within the pitch behind it, but Mook B's the other member out of D4L that's not Fabo or Shawty Lo, so it's within the pitch as far as saying I was expecting like a Mook B verse on the song Sight to See, but he wasn't on there, so that's kind of a disappointing pitch because it would have been nice to have gotten at least a mild kind of, it would have been nice to have gotten like a mild kind of compilement of like the D4L rappers again, but it didn't happen with the pitch. Now there is like someone who talks on the beginning and end of this song. I don't know what Mook B, not sure if that was him on the particular intro. This mixtape is brought to you by DJ Drama and DJ Scream, some of those particular type folks. So it's just kind of the aspect, and DJ Woo Kid, which is a surprising one as well. So it's within the pitch as far as saying it might have just been one of the DJs, but I don't know why Rate Your Music says that Sight to See had Mook B on there because he's not on that song. So I look within the pitch, but that's the only minor thing. And then the only other thing about it is just the fact that this project is pretty pop rap flavor. This is Shawty Lo going for like the breakout type of feel. This is actually a pretty almost vanilla commercial mixtape within the pitch behind it. It has more breakthrough moments than probably what was expected. Actually, more breakthrough moments than what was actually on his album from 2008, which is surprising about that was just the pitch. If you're expecting like a song like Laffy Taffy, again, there's no real ringtone rap on there, and I think Shawty Lo actually didn't like the Laffy Taffy song that much. He was on Bet You Can't Do It Like Me, but not on Laffy Taffy. But just being able to say there's not really like a dance club type song, something like that within those pitches. He's really not in the club that much on this particular project. This is a lot more just romping. If you like Paper Trail from 2008, despite the fact that Shawty Lo kind of had beef with T.I. around this time, this is very much within like that particular type format of like the glissy type feeling of Gorilla Zoe from 2009 and Soulja Boy from 2009, where they just had more romping kind of music of disc, going to places like going to more strip mall and kind of fairground type places within the pitch behind it, as far as just like shopping spots and pitches like that. Some of that particular type fair are just like kind of more day fair kind of romping and Galvant. So this is kind of a Galvant type product. There is a little bit of work shift on here within a pitch. There's kind of an Atlanta style version of a Hustler's Makeshift as far as those fairs can happen, but really doesn't have like a nasty kind of neural song. This is a little bit before like the full bound kind of mixtape Dat Piff type movement. It's kind of amidst the pitch of it, but it doesn't have a ton of songs like Put Your Hood Up and Bird, some of those type ones. This is really not a snarling kind of rugged and nasty kind of Shawty Lo like he could be. He was one of the originators of trap. He did do some of that. He was kind of one of the forefathers of it, but he doesn't do it that much on here, so it's just on pitch. But it's just more kind of in Paper Trail type aspect. If you don't know that, Paper Trail by T.I., some of those particular type fairs is within the pitch. But yeah, so out of the there's 16 songs on this mixtape here, not counting the 5 interludes and skits and all that particular type. There's 16 songs in this particular mixtape, not counting the 5 interludes and skits and all that particular type stuff. So there's really 21, but minus the 5 narrows it down to 16. And out of the 16, there's only one that I don't recommend, which is just the song Attitude. So talk about that one. This is just kind of a dreary kind of kind of pep of a song, just with the pitch behind it. It's just kind of Shawty Lo's typical kind of floaty type flavor, but just in a more type kind of extra time type format, one of those type ones. This kind of is some of these type songs that are more romping type music, but just not as good with the romping type fare about it. It's just kind of more of just like a sluggish and sleepy type one that just didn't have as much full bound kind of feel. This kind of had some volume about it that was just kind of more of an awkward type one within the full bound pitch behind it. I think this probably should have been replaced with like another song like Birds or something like that. I mean, I feel like this is kind of like Shawty Lo's answer to like the Paper Trail album by T.I. within the pitch, which is kind of the format that I think there probably should have been at least 1 or 2 more turn-up songs. It's surprising that Shawty Lo was really not in like the mode for like Friday kind of get crunk and really get tore up within the pitch. It has a little bit more kind of just, not necessarily bustle, but just kind of joviality about it within the pitch. That this is surprising considering that there's not real songs for like turn up and kind of as much full bound recreation. It's just more in not necessarily like a giddy type mood, but just more jolly about it, which is surprising. It's just kind of within the pitch. But yeah, so the single out this project was Atlanta, Georgia. This is a pretty big type song on here. This has The Dream on the hook, was a pretty good hook singer around the late 2000s. Has verses from Ludacris, who was kind of quiet in 2009, and has a verse from Gucci Mane, who's on here a couple times. So it's a good type pitch. Once again, this particular song, Atlanta, Georgia, is basically Shawty Lo's biggest song that's not off of his Units in the City album, the album with Dano on there, some of those type pitches. So good re-up type project to fuck with some of this, to get some of his second biggest type songs on here. So this is like a grandiose kind of put on for the city anthem to kind of get here. This song definitely reminds of like DJ Khaled songs, pitches like that, and it's like a typical romp to kind of get within these aspects. So it's just kind of the pitch. It's kind of an in-between. It's like something that DJ Khaled would kind of do with songs like I'm So Hood and Fed Up, some of those type ones, just with the pitch, that typical kind of bravado type anthems, pitches like that, just like the more format of this more Paper Trail type romping within the fair. This is kind of the pitch. It's basically like getting the bravado of a DJ Khaled song, just with a little bit more localized type fare within the pitch. It's just not as full bound, kind of power hungry within the pitch. It's a good type one. Atlanta's a pretty big city within the fair behind it, but it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying this. If you're just on like a pleasure cruise, getting ready to get like some, Wendy's or something like that, just some typical type formats, or just getting like a box of beer, heading to like a house party, just within the pitch as far as saying. But it's just kind of feel good, just kind of hair in the wind type song within the pitch, as far as just on the scene type flourish within the pitch like that. So good type fare. This good type concept would get like Ludacris and Gucci Mane on there, just because once again Ludacris was pretty quiet in 2009. But to talk about these other songs in here, I'm going to talk about some of these more trap type ones. This is mildly like a trap project. It's a lot more just in like the Paper Trail type format, like I said, but there are like a few minor moments that have some of that particular type style of like what Mixtapes was getting ready to do in 2010 stuff. It's not a drill type project at all, but it does have a little bit of trap on here within the sense of some of those songs, one of which is Birds. It's like a vintage kind of early 2010s mixtape grit to kind of get within that. This reminds of like Primetime Gunna Gucci. Definitely reminds of like Primetime kind of Gucci Mane pitches like that. It's just kind of like a trap buzzer as far as those pitches kind of happen. It's good type format. If you If you know some of those particular type songs that like folks like that were doing, Gucci Mane, Waka Flocka, Yo Gotti, some of those type folks, just typical routine type fare within that. Just I do think this mixtape needed more of that, but I think it's just kind of on the down low this particular time. So it's a good type pitch, but still not as huge. Put Your Hood Up is a nice one. Now this has particularly Busta Rhymes and Gucci Mane on here. The thing about this particular song on top of that is just the fact that Shawty Lo does not really drop a verse on this song, which is odd because it's weird to get someone who drops a song on their project but is only on the hook. So it's just kind of pitch. Considering that Busta Rhymes and Gucci Mane weren't Shawty Lo's artists, is this kind of a strange format for that. But yeah, basically, Put Your Hood Up's like a dope raw, kind of on the late scene frolic to kind of get here. Just typical commute, I'd had to say. Just kind of some good song to toke to, pitches like that, and just kind of some afterthought just amidst like the going around in like the wind as far as this pitch can happen. Just good 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock p.m. type pitches, some of that type fair gas station runs, Taco Bell, some of those type pitches within it. It's kind of amidst neighborhood John, smoking with your pals, some of those type pitches within the tone behind it. But it's just kind of the pitch that this feels like a stock and routine type one that Gucci Mane and Zaytoven would have done throughout like the late 2000s and early 2010s pitches like that. Surprised to hear Busta Rhymes on here. He does pretty good with this as well. It was a good type pitch, kind of get some of that here, so good type fair for that. Good 1-2 punch with Bird, some of those type ones. There are some night venue songs I'm going to get to as well. Like Blenda is a real excellent type one in terms of the format. If you want to get tore up and like the style of like Juicy J and some of those particular type folks, trying to think of some other folks to really get tore up to. DJ Paul, Juicy J in 2009, some of those particular type folks, and Gucci Mane within certain senses, Waka Flocka, I'd say. Blend is like a bass heavy kind of night venue blackout song to kind of get here. Good product for that. It's like a crazy night, but super low key about it as far as those fairs going to happen. Surprising that Shawty Lo had one of these particular type ones. I know he can do these particular songs, but it's just kind of one that just doesn't have like the bells and whistles on it as far as being right in your face as far as doing it. It's like a good post up quiet type song within the pitch. So kind of the product to having some of that particular type fair, but just more in like an essence of just not like the main focus. So it's just kind of the format of, I mean, this is kind of almost like EDM in terms of like the crazy type factor within like the bass heaviness and just the overall pizzazz of it, but it's just kind of the pitch as far as saying that there's not a ton of songs like this on here. It's a pretty good song topic and original idea as well, telling Chica shake your ass like a Blenda as far as this pitch can have a good song format. It's a good type fair, and I would say to look after one of these here and trying to say 911 is a good, nice one as well. This is more of like a makeshift type format, more paper trail flavor. This is like a stirred up kind of makeshift flavor to kind of get, but just kind of on the grit grind as far as those fairs going to happen. It's more like within the concept of Hustlers makeshift with a little bit of like the context, if you just within the fair of blue collar jobs within the pitch, but just more kind of in rap centric type modes, pitches like that. Still amidst like where you do have routine kind of rap mixtapes in your tape deck pitches like that. Some of that type fair. It's just a good conduit for being two tone. I'd have to say within the pitch behind it. Some blue collar, some hustlers within the pitch within it. Just kind of the fair of just kind of a blend song. This is a lit type song kind of gets a good type product for that. This is one that has this has Rick Ross, Life Jennings, and Bun B on there. Life Jennings on the hook, Rick Ross and Bun B on here as far as this first going to happen. So this is good type, nice one for some of those type fairs, good type pitch. Cocaine is a quality one as well. It's another party type song within the pitch. Like I said, it's kind of minimum on some of these, but it's a good type pitch. Get this one here. Good 1-2 punch with Blenda. Cocaine is like a jarred and schizo kind of street buzz single, kind of get within the aspects of it. Just get tore up, I'd have to say, at a house party. Good lounge type song kind of for some of that. It's another real quiet and kind of beside it. It's another real quiet and kind of meek type one to kind of have for like some relative type craziness. It's kind of a schizo type song, but it's just very drowsy within the aspect of it. Just typical kind of floaty bars from Shawty Lo as far as those pitch can happen, but it is a pretty nice one to get tore up to within the pitch as far as those fairs can happen. It's kind of a surprise hit and a sleeper as far as those fairs can happen, so good type tone. Some of these ones on here, like a surprising hook off this product was from Maya. Shawty Lo got some pretty good hooks on here. There are some ones. There's another one that sounds pretty similar to Trey songs, like Nothing New, but Maya's on here. It's a pretty good R&B singer with them pitches like that. So About My B.I., which has the Maya hook, is like a good mixtape version of like a pop rap breakthrough, I'd have to say, within the pitch. Just some paper trail flavor about this particular one. It's just good for some romps as far as those first can happen. So it goes with the pretty good 1-2 punch with songs like Atlanta, Georgia, and Crazy, some of those type pitches. Just typical type format when you think of like those Overcast or just like those large kind of songs like Live Your Life and Whatever You Like by T.I. It's just kind of the pitch of just getting afterthoughts of just that particular style. It's just kind of a good, some of these are just kind of good cousins, that particular format of just that particular fair as far as just further aspects of just like that pop rap that was kind of going on with late 2000s type pitch. So it's just kind of the pitch of that. Shawty Low being able to pull off that same style as T.I. within some of those fairs was a good type pitch for that. Now obviously these were not songs that hit like number 1, number 3 on the Billboard, but Atlanta, Georgia was pretty large within the pitch. I want to say it has probably a few million plays on YouTube, pitches like that, so it's a big enough song with the pitch behind it, but it's kind of the format just getting like a kind of more mixtape, just underground type sense of like Paper Trail, this in the aspects of good type tone. Crazy is a nice one here. Now this gives like the particular song Crazy gives like Soulja Boy and Fast Life Youngsters vibes that I'd say just routine kind of midday pep within the pitch behind it. Good song for like a cold beer or something like that. Good Paper Trail like flavor once again within some of these, and this it's like a good type song to have a trek to as far as this first gonna happen. So this day fair getting like the good type fair hitting up like the post office, getting some routine kind of good type fair hitting up like the post office, getting some routine kind of errands done, pitches like that, picking up like a Burger King sandwich, some of those particular type fairs within the pitch behind this typical kind of romps, just cold beer, some of that type fare, just the cold beer, some of that type fare, just within the standard romp of like a usual day within the pitch. So it's kind of the format of it, just good unwind, I'd have to say. Comes and goes to know these type ones as like Atlanta, Georgia, and About My BI. I'd have to say it's like a good after work shift kind of embrace, kind of get here, just Atlanta style, that particular format, just dope hustlers makeshift. I'd have to say about this one, it's kind of usual type fare. So this further type ones within the pitch, just a series of these within the particular format. This is very much like, it's kind of like a decent, modest kind of work shift type product within the pitch behind it. It's kind of the format of just like getting, like the thing about Paper Trail is it was kind of a makeshift type album, but kind of did it in a more Atlanta type sound within the pitch behind it. It's kind of the format of songs like Live Your Life, Whatever You Like, No Matter What, some of these type ones that were just kind of like the early stages, like Hustlers Makeshift, kind of medium, more blue collar type fare, just kind of did some of that in particular. It's just kind of the pitch. Some projects kind of particularly did it. It's kind of the format that, mixtapes would have hustle, makeshift type songs in the pitch that are kind of just more grit, but it's just kind of, some of these just kind of have like, despite this being a mixtape and being pretty underground within pitch, I don't know if this got like 100,000, 300,000 downloads, something like that. It's just kind of the pitch that this surprisingly has a little bit more kind of like mild. It's just more jovial within the upkeep of like blue collar, more so than the pitch of like the format. I mean, it's more hustlers makeshift, but it's just kind of a blend of like kind of being two-tone within the pitch you're doing. There's just a lot of two-tone type moments on here where it can be hustlers makeshift for folks that remember that remnant of that style, but it's also the pitch as far as saying that it has like the kind of grit of like, it also has the blue collar type, standard grind, the blue collar kind of standard grind and work shift within the pitch. So it's just good fare. Trying to think of other songs I haven't talked. Oh yeah, Man in the Hood. It's a nice one here. It's like a buzzing kind of night gliss kind of get, very similar to Foolish off of Units in the City. I'd have to say just good local snacks and tokage, some fares like that. Just in the pitch behind. It's kind of the format. It's the production fare and the overall candor. This particular song, Man in the Hood, is just almost damn well identical to Foolish as far as what's going to happen. Just good type pitch for getting that. It's kind of the format of. It's actually not a ton of ringtone rap and more moments. Like, it's actually pretty distant from Units in the City for the most part, but this is just one that throws it back to some of Shawty Low's earlier days in the pitch. That's good type one. Nothing New is a quality one as well. Now, this is a particular promo type song, has very similar vibes to Trey songs off this. Like a Trey songs like mixtape, promo night, glamour to kind of get within the aspect of it. Kind of a midway hustle song, but it's a good song to indulge to as well as far as this pitch goes. It's just kind of the format of stacking money, some of that type fare, but just within the pitch also as far as saying just kind of the concept of just getting some smokes in your system, once again getting some good Burger King sandwiches, some of those type formats, getting like the goodies, figuring out where the bells are at, some of those particular type pitches, just the product of just kind of balancing work and play as far as this pitch kind of happens. So it's good type fare. And say Sight to See is a nice one. I don't think I've talked about this one yet. It's like a quality kind of evening embrace after like a typical work shift, I'd have to say, within the fare behind it. It's kind of a primer for some venue gloss within the pitch. So it's just kind of the format as far as this one kind of particularly goes. Not too many primer songs on here either. So kind of the pacing of this project is a lot more just between like the hours of probably like 1:30 to about 4:45 or 5:45, 6 o'clock pitches like that. It's kind of where the sun is out, but just in the later shift of it. Kind of the format as far as just a lot more day fare within the pitch, but kind of the product as far as some of these type ones, there are like a few moments, like I said, Cocaine and Blend, there are some real nice ones for like that house party type craze pitches like that, mild strip club junks in here as far as those pitch can have them. It's just kind of the fare as far as saying, like Sight to See is kind of one of those ones where it would be like 7:15, something like that, where you're just in the process of shedding like the work shift, kind of getting towards the concept of like getting towards some turn up and just getting crunk as far as those pitch camps. A good type fare. Sick of Myself is another of these dope type formats within the Paper Trail type format of it. It's like a vintage kind of neighborhood pep, just ATL flavored jaunts within the fare as to how that particularly happens. This reminds of like Fast Life Youngsters, some of those type folks, Soulja Boy. It's kind of more neighborhood and localized within the pitch behind within the fare. Just typical neighborhood romps. A good song to surf to as far as this pitch camp. Good song to surf to as far as those pitches gonna happen. I'm not talking like surf with the surfboard, but just surf through neighborhood fairs, just routine errands, pickups and stuff. Get like goodies, some of those type pitches, pickups and lighters, just standard products. Get some swishers, good type, just typical kind of routine day fare, typical kind of routine day product. And what the baby gonna do is a nice one on here. Now this is a good charming type one. This is a little bit differential type one. There's not a ton of songs on this product that really admits like getting tore up, minus like the 2 night venue songs I talked about with getting within a relative house party sense. This is kind of a format of a product that has at least one song for just being a little bit drunk in your system, having a little bit of drinks in your system, some of those type fares. What the baby gonna do is like a feeling good kind of city hop jive kind of get, just tipsy. I would definitely say about this song pretty tipsy type one, just a kind of a jolly type one, just kind of giddy type one moreover. It's like a starry kind of social product, I'd say here, good song to shoot the moon too. What the baby gonna do is like a city gallivant type fashion, very similar to like the mid 2000s kind of Don Cannon mixtape type days with the pitch, very similar to like DJ drama type format. This is just one of those type ones that just feels like something that Cameron or Jisoo kind of do, just a little bit more flamboyant, but a good type concept for just getting tore up. Definitely good song to have some drinks in your system and within a responsible type pair, so it's a good type pitch of it. I think that's every song I've talked about on here within the pitch in terms of all the ones I recommend. So just trying to scan this to see if there's anything else I haven't gotten to. Yeah, I think I covered it. So this mixtape is the 10 out of 10. I realized within the pitch that for the format of it, Shawty Low is kind of one, like I said, that kind of has like a relatively kind of not usual kind of couth reception as far as this pitch can happen. But I look after, it's just something to pay attention to. This some excellent type fare. Really does handle the format like this paper trail type format pretty well within the pitch. Just kind of mixtape, bridging out that particular style, getting more Hustlers makeshift into like more of like standardized, get more Hustlers makeshift in a free sense in like a more standardized kind of blue collar type format where it is kind of not diss, or it has more to offer than just the usual kind of street rawness type factor within the pitch behind it. But it's just within the format, this different kind of change of tone for Shawty Low compared to how he was with songs like I'm the Man off of different kind of pace within the change of tone for Shawty Low, different from how he was on like I'm the Man off of the D Pharrell album from 2005, some of those type fares or some of the pitches. But it's kind of the format as far as getting towards it, like it's a good conduit of a product, has the hustle songs on here and like a more embrace of like blue collar, or just more has the embrace of more standard worship type songs on here within the format of paper trail within some of those type tones just within the pitch. It has a good conduit of those particular moments, has a few gems on here for like some house party sleaze pitches like that, some of those type products, a little bit of trap makeshift on here, a little bit of trap rugged, a little bit of trap rawness on here within the pitch, some good guests on here, some excellent hooks. That's one thing about this product, it's very pop centric, definitely has the glisten appeal. The Dream is on here, Maya's on here, a Trey song similar, Cat is on here on the song Nothing New. There's some good type ones on here. Shawty Low has pretty catching vocals, so he's not a boring vocalist. He's not a boring rapper as far as this pitch can have, and he has the affable sense of just the product to him. He's kind of similar to Eazy-E, some of those type folks within the pitch behind us. It's a good affability about it. Some Life Jennings does a hook on here, so some good type pitch just in the format of that. So I'd say, yeah, the album, the mixtape is a 10 out of 10. The social score, that's kind of tricky. I look within the aspect because it has a single and it has a good quality of some of these type ones on here. I'll probably give the social score like a 9.75 out of 10. I look within the pitch as far as saying that this is kind of the concept just within the pitch that there are plenty of good moments on here. It has a pretty good casual kind of embrace and just more makeshift kind of embrace within the pitch behind. But it's just kind of the format that the moments for like the more routine kind of turn up within the aspect as far as saying like, as far as getting to like the tore upness within the pitch behind as far as Friday, Thursday, Saturday type fare. It's not as much in vicious kind of supply, especially for having 16 songs on here. It's kind of with the pitch that there probably should have been more than 3 or 4 of these moments within the pitch. This kind of format just has a little bit more kind of just like kind of banner and kind of public relations kind of packaging. It's not like normally I do appreciate that kind of concept, but with Shawty Low, it's just within the pitch that Shawty Low is definitely someone that you want the turn up songs from as far as those first can happen. So this is one pitch as far as saying, but that's the tone, 9.75. In terms of the future, the unfortunate thing is Shawty Low is deceased and has been for almost a decade within those type pitches, but he does have plenty of mixtapes to get to within some of those type fares. I've reviewed like I said, I reviewed the D Pharrell album and the Shawty Low 2008 albums was within the pitch. This is like his second largest product in terms of like the casual notoriety, so I'll start getting to some more of these as far as those first going to happen. There's definitely some ones I want to get to, see some other hits that he particularly had. Might go back to 2007, 2008 Shawty Low mixtapes, some of those type fairs to see what some gems he had in those particular days. But yeah, basic mixtape classic here, kind of very underappreciated, seldom talked about. This is something that needs more notoriety. I'm going to try to assist with that.